Hello everyone. It is really nice to meet again. Today we will have a look at another topic. The topic is small satellite and its relevance for today. Okay, so let us understand what is the small satellites. And there are two kinds of satellites. One they call it as a natural satellite or a man-made, and the other one is a man-made satellite. Natural satellite, all of us know that it is like our the moon is a satellite of the Earth, and how it rotates around the Earth, etc. All that. Those are natural satellites. Now, the man-made satellites are those like which are being put into the orbit for various purposes. It is a generic term called small satellite. It is also called as small sat, or it is also sometimes called as satellite. Now, in 2018 was the first time that in the 2 Mars cube, one microsat, it was weighing around 13.5 kgs. It was the first thing to be put onto the orbit like that, and satellites are generally called by different types. One is low Earth orbit, the types of orbit that they put the satellites on, or they put something like a geosynchronous Earth orbit, or the medium Earth orbit, or the elliptical one. Now, satellites can be built small to reduce. It can be made very small to reduce the economic cost of the launch vehicles and the cost associated with its construction. Actually, if it is very big, the launching of that, etc., takes a lot of money and then effort. Now, for that, now the people have thought, why should we carry so much there? For a small purpose or a minimum specific purpose, why don't we have a small satellite? Okay, so miniature satellites, especially in large numbers, may be more useful than fewer larger ones for the same purposes. Okay, so it is all coming down to miniaturizing things like that. There are multiple kinds of satellites. Okay, there's an astronomy satellite, there is a navigation satellite, reconnaissance or the spy vehicle satellites are there. Spy satellites are also there. Remote sensing satellites are also there. Search and rescue satellites are also there. Okay, so multiple satellites, for various purposes like that. Now, satellites are actually launched into space to do a specific job. The type of satellite that is launched to monitor the cloud patterns or for a weather station will be different than the satellite launched to send a television signal for the sky TV. The satellite has to be designed especially to fulfill this function. Okay. There are different types of satellites. We'll look into one after the other just to throw some more light onto this topic. A telescopic or the orbiting telescope or orbiting the Earth. It can just take like our Google taking pictures around, etc. The astronomy satellite vision is not clouded by the gases that make up the Earth's atmosphere. So it gives a clearer picture than the telescopes on the Earth. Now, astronomy satellites study stellar phenomena like black holes and distant galaxies, etc. Okay. Now, this should not be confused with some space exploration kind of satellites. A type of scientific satellite that studies the Earth's atmosphere will be like an astronomy satellite which have different application. They can be used to make star maps. They can also be used to study mysterious phenomena like the black holes and the quasars, etc. And then they can also be used to take pictures of the planet in the solar system. They can be used to make maps of different planetary surfaces. Then another type of satellite is used for communication on Earth by allowing radio, television, and telephone transmission to be sent live anywhere on the world. So we have a satellite there, we send communication to that, and from there it comes back again. So it is a kind of a mirror that we have kept on the orbit, so that things travel faster. Before we could transfer data from one computer to another computer, this goes up to the satellite and comes back. Now, because communications satellites are in the orbit, the signals can be sent instantaneously into space and then redirected to another satellite or directly to their destination. A type of satellite that gives the ships or aircraft their coordinate position of the Earth. Navigation satellites, etc., were developed in 1950, and these are mainly used by military. Reconnaissance satellites are used to spy on other countries. They provide intelligence information to the military activities on foreign countries. Now, these satellites can even direct missiles launches or even nuclear explosions in space. Now, remote sensing is observing and measuring our environment from a distance, and that is called as remote sensing. Now, these type of satellites are put into the space to monitor the resources that are important for human beings. For example, remote sensing satellite might track animal migration. It may also track or locate the mineral deposits on the earth, watch the agriculture crops for weather damage, or see how fast the forests are being cut down. All of these can be done best from the space, because the satellites in orbit can normally take photographs of large expanses of land all over the world. Since the satellites are able to take photographs and observe areas all over the globe, the satellite is able to monitor areas in which the climate is very harsh, or which is nearly impossible to reach by land. Now, search and rescue satellites are designed to provide a way for vessels at sea, in the air, to communicate from remote areas. These satellites can detect and locate emergency beacons carried by ships, aircrafts, or individuals in remote or dangerous places. Space exploration satellites are really not satellites; they are more into like probes, etc. Okay, so these kind of probes on their journeys, they send back detailed pictures of other data which are very far away in other stellar phenomena, etc. Now, for example, space exploration satellites are responsible for many of the astronomy most important achievements. For example, the Jupiter rings, and that was discovered by the space exploration satellite. Now, weather satellite monitors the Earth's temperature and cloud formation, right? Okay, so multiple types of satellites are there. Now, it's a very interesting subject. There are some online training being conducted by certain companies like Udemy, etc., teaching running courses on small satellites. Okay, for Earth science research missions, small satellites provide important flexibility to the overall program. They provide schedule flexibility when responding to advances in scientific understanding, changes in scientific priorities, or developed new technologies. So, with that, we will try and then talk on a different topic. Small satellites are really coming up, very interesting, and then they create a whole new career path for many of us. Okay, thank you very much. We'll meet again.